Kieran Hanlon here, principal bass of the Erie Philharmonic, and just wanted to first point out this wonderful sweatshirt. I'm not sure if you can still get these or not, but this is like the warmest sweatshirt I have. Plus I get to represent our wonderful orchestra. So if they're still out there, big suggestion from me on that one. Finally getting back into the Warner is really going to be a celebration. You know, I think what was strange about the last show we played there is that we didn't know it was the last show at the time. And so it all felt very abrupt. And that whole space that has had such a relationship to the history of the orchestra, as well as, however, many other historical, implications and people that have been in there, there was really no official, this is the close of this space. So I think starting out is going to be, starting out in the new space, I should say, is going to be a much needed celebration that in some way will still pay tribute to that old building. So the single thing that I'm looking forward to the most in the new space is really going to be the sound on stage, and I bet that's what everyone is saying. Specifically, in the past, I've had the chance to play by myself in the Warner. Sometimes I'd be very early to rehearsal for whatever reason, other commitments, and ended up at the hall very early, and had a chance to practice in there by myself. And I think that the room itself sounds really, really wonderful. And actually, when we've done the Nutcracker, the last maybe 2-3 years ago, when the orchestra was sort of in the pit and even in the front of the audience for Nutcracker, I just thought it sounded wonderful. So when you put this beautifully designed shell up in a new stage area and couple it with the room, sort of the audience area, I just can't wait. I think it's going to be really special. This season, the concert I'm looking forward to the most, oh man, it's probably going to be, got to be the opener, coming up here in just a few weeks, because just that excitement I mentioned regarding the other point, it's just going to be right there, and it's going to be great to celebrate the new building. So the process of the last several years, could almost say mentally, emotionally, for the musicians of, like I was saying earlier, finishing our last concert in the Warner and not even knowing it was our last concert in that space, and then having all the, sort of shared trauma of the pandemic, especially at the beginning. Very, very obviously, we're worried about our friends, we're worried about our family. For musicians, financial implications were huge. To be getting to sort of go through that and then have this gradual return, through making the recordings with iPhones and things like that, and then getting into the televised concerts, which I think were so very cool. Sorry, I had a little low battery warning come up there on the phone, but I think we're going to make it. Anyway, having those televised concerts, I thought that was really cool. That was sort of one of the silver lining things of the pandemic, to actually have something like that come out of this, something wonderful that reaches a lot of people, is free of charge, and obviously, the great partnership with QLN, that was a good thing. Of course, it would never replace that feeling of being in front of a live audience. When people ask me, why are you a musician? It's very easy to get caught up in, is it in tune, or you keep taking good care of your hands and arms and staying healthy. And, I teach at Fredonia, the students get all bent out of shape about, registration and deadlines and all this stuff. And I think it's important to remember the bottom line of this whole thing, at least for me, is putting a smile on someone else's face, improving their day. That's why I do this. And we know in our head that that can happen in a TV concert, but we don't feel it as much. And so coming back live, it's just it's been an amazing journey. Yeah, so the Warner memories that I have, that might be a little bit more in the category of roasting the place, two really, and I suppose only one of them was really a roast. But the men's dressing room, I'm looking forward to not having the floor do this under my feet, from the amount of moisture that was presumably in the subfloor. That would just, the whole the whole room would kind of do that somehow, and so I'm looking forward to not having that situation. And then the other thing I would say is, this just kind of makes me laugh. Like, I'm a pretty sentimental person. I have a very close attachment, I would say, to places and things, and as much as I realize, of course, that at the end of the day it's about the people, but still, the places for me mean a lot. And I often would think over the years, going in through that stage door of the Warner, what an amazing door this is, and I wonder how many times this has opened and closed, and I wonder how many people have gone through there, not only orchestra members and of course the major history there, but folks from the stage crew and touring shows, and then obviously looking way back to the origins of the theater as a movie theater, what all came through there. And I had this whole plan in my head, like at the last concert of 2020, to have some sort of special goodbye with that door as I left, and because I sort of just was thinking, well, this definitely won't be here after the renovation. And then obviously the whole shutdown happened, and I thought, oh man, I never got to say goodbye to the door, and then I was couldn't help laughing to myself a couple weeks ago when I was back downtown again. I think it was for Christmas Pops there at the arena, and I looked and the door's still there. I don't even think it was affected by the renovation, so I guess I'll still have my chance. It's really it's really impossible to communicate the appreciation that musicians have, for those of you that have kind of stayed with us through this whole thing. Obviously, we talked about the difficulties that musicians have faced through this time, but of course we aren't the only industry that's been hit really hard. And so for those of you that are attending concerts, or generous with your donations, or just watching the concerts, or coming out to the summer stuff, or really anybody connected with the orchestra, we just want to say thank you, and getting back to one of my previous points, I really, I would say most of us do this because we want to improve your day, put a smile on your face, and just your support has allowed us to continue to do that for you. So it's a good symbiosis, we hope, and we do thank you for everything.